Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. It is time to pit one against the other. The Yamaha Dtx-12 versus the Alesis Sample Pad Pro 8. Now, we have 8 pads on the Alesis, and they are all in one level. We have 12 in a step formation on the Yamaha. Now, the Yamaha comes with 50 preset kits, 200 user kits, and just shy of 1,300 built-in sounds, and you can add more. Okay, you've got about 200 sounds. In the Alesis, you have 10 kits. You can create more kits, not a big deal, and you can have multiple kits pre-designed on each up to 32 gig memory stick. Okay, which is just an SD card that goes into the slot here, which I have a 16 gigger in here right now. And I've designed an acoustic kit on each one that are virtually identical to each other, except I have an extra in the middle on the Yamaha. Okay, both of them have Yamaha sustain pedals on them to allow me the usage of having a kick drum on the floor, because I don't have an actual kick drum with a kick pedal for either one of these. And after this video, this one is actually going back to the store because I've decided that now that I have the Yamaha, I don't need this anymore. I first bought this thinking, oh, this is way better than the 4 that I used to have a long time ago. I thought, you know, programming is virtually identical, you know, very, very easy to program this thing, very simple to use, okay? Now this one's a lot more advanced, a lot more complicated, bigger learning curve. However, it does have software to assist with that to make your life really super simple. And it's all touch one, and it shows you a diagram of which pad you're about to program. And you can do up to 4 layers on each pad. On the Yamaha, you can set them off boom, 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 okay? Each time you hit the pad, it's a different sound, or you can stack them different ways. You have only 2 layers period on this, and it goes by how much you hit, which one gets set off. A little different. You have 22 total accessible pads and trigger devices on the Yamaha available. You have 8 up top here, and you have, well, number 9 would be the foot switch, 10, 11, 12 total tops capable on the Alesis. So that kind of really sucks. But I mean, you're talking $379 versus $600. Okay, so this is like $230 more basically to get can loads more. I mean, even this Yamaha blows the doors off the Roland that's like $900. Okay, so I mean, they really went overkill with the Yamaha. And of course you have soft pads. You can also mute sounds with the Yamaha. You cannot do congos and mute sounds with this thing. It doesn't seem to do that. So, mind you, this doesn't require an iPad to program. You just do it all from here, right? And you can take sounds from all kinds of sources. Now, there's not a whole boatload of extra memory space available in the Yamaha because you already have over 1,300 sounds already, right? So you don't have a boatload space, but you can fit quite a number more in. It's not a problem. Whereas this thing, it's all externally done. You're swapping cards as you go to change kits and stuff once you've gone beyond, right? But pads are sensitivity controlled on either one. This one has a full mixing system to completely mix your pads. Very simple and easy. Panning left and right made very simple and easy. Pretty simple and easy here to do that with panning control and levels and sensitivities. Although you still have to hit these pads harder in comparison, especially up here. This is supposed to be my ride. I actually have to hit much harder, and I don't have the bell unless I program the bell into the second layer. Where this one, much more sensitive pads. Alright, so let's do a kit comparison for sound difference. Now we'll start with the Alesis. Yamaha. So, pretty cool. Now there is a marimba sound in here. No, I don't want to store that. So let's get to the one on here. Let's compare the marimbas. Oh, here, I might as well show you that. Here's a Congo. You can mute. Just put a little extra pressure. Anyways, back to the marimba. Okay. Now, staying with the same amount of pads to be fair, quality of sounds way better. Now I can change and make these virtually identical sounding. It's just to find the same marimbas being used here, put them on here, that sort of thing. Now, I add in extra samples on the Yamaha using a flash drive, or this I just use SD cards. So there's a difference there. Saving stuff is, well, software generated control, just way too easy. Every possible combination of functions, multi-layering, triggering, all that, so simple and easy to do via the software program for this thing. A little more complicated this way for some aspects, but otherwise very straightforward and simple. Okay. Either machine, even this could replace a regular drum kit. However, the pads are very hard on this one. These are soft and very responsive. And you don't have to hit these as hard, where these ones you got to hit much harder to get the same level of effect and sound. And either one of them you can program for sensitivity and tuning differences. You can tune each instrument any way you want, up or down. Okay, no big deal. Velocities, totally programmable on each. Simpler on the Yamaha. A little different on this one. You got to understand velocity numbers a lot more than you would on this thing. You know, so you got to kind of look at it. You can run loops on either one. There are built-in loops files, but you can add in your own loops on either machine, not a problem. That's easy enough to do. Switching between internal memory and external memory, that takes a little bit of getting used to. It's a learning curve, but when you're programming your kit, you might not want to use all the internal stuff. And I do have a boatload of stuff on the SD card for this thing because of some of the kits that I have programmed on this. Okay. But like here's a rock kit. It's got a load. It's not a rock kit anymore though. Okay. Where's one that funk? I should have a standard kit still kicking around on this thing. 1980 might be okay. Now that's another thing too. The volume is at half blast. I have the input gain set on my mixing board, identical for both. And I'm only at like 930 for volume here. And I'm loud. You know, here I'm at 12 o'clock. It's a lot lower output on the Alesis. I got an idea. Come on. I think it's... Okay, finish loading. Okay, I'm done waiting for that. Should be... Nope, that's not what I wanted. Load samples and kits via USB. No. What I'm trying to look for here is the reset. I think it's these two. Self-test. Nope. I want to reset the acoustic kit for you guys. Found not found. Nope. Now I gotta wait for it to process. See, when you're loading stuff off the card on this, it takes a while to load the files in. It's slow. Especially when you're using a lot of external versus internal. It'll get there. There we go, completed. Okay, global settings. Exit. No. Cancel. I can't remember how to do a factory restore, guys. Oh well. Anyways, so the deal is pretty simple. The pads are hard. You can play some stuff by hand. You can't do muting. You have very limited access to sounds that are built in. You have just 200, okay? To get more sounds accessible, it all has to be done externally, okay? But at least you can use up to a 32 gig card. With this thing, you've got over 1,300 sounds built in. You can still add more in externally. I don't know how many more exactly, but they didn't give us a boatload of space, but I mean, come on, you've got over 1,300 different sounds. You know, this thing's got like 200, like, woohoo, you know, kind of thing, right? And, but at least this does allow you to access a lot more in some aspects, but you're only going to be able to fit, I think it's 512 sounds for every 32 gig file, depending on those sounds, because if you're talking loops, it's going to reduce the amount of other sounds that you can have if you're doing music loops at the same time on the card, which a lot of people would. But it's the whole thing of, you know, hitting the pads. It's the rebound is kind of weird. Now I like the light show because it's blue. And it tells you when you hit each pad. Well, guess what? On the Yamaha, it doesn't light up, but it does light up down here, and it tells you what pad you're hitting. That's 10. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it does light up down here. It just doesn't light up like this does, you know. See, I set this up as a left-handed kit. This is set up right-handed. When I designed my kit, I set it up the way I wanted it though. So when you're looking at the two of them in comparison, it's kind of a no-brainer that the Yamaha would easily beat out anything the Alesis has. Even the Alesis Strike is no match for the Roland. It is no match for the Yamaha. And even the Strike is very expensive, even compared to the Yamaha. Let's push this volume to about 1 o'clock. Back off to about 1. So you're looking at about 12:30 to get this, where the Yamaha is only at 10 o'clock for the same kind of volume output. And these feel more comfortable and a better rebound. You know? That sounds more real. Anyways, you guys make up your own mind, but here's the thing in my opinion, alright? So, let me turn this. Alright, so if you're on a budget and you really can't afford $600 for the creme de la creme, then yes, I would definitely recommend the Alesis Sample Pad Pro 8. You're still going to be able to download a lot of really good quality sounds into the Alesis that sound very good. These are different toms though, okay? These are more realistic. So, but you do have to hit harder to run your ride. Crash isn't so bad, but I mean you can really wail on the crash, you can really wail on the ride, but you're going to have to build 2 layers on the ride unless you get a file that has ride and bell combined that can separate, which I don't know if they do that. Well actually they should, but I have to check the programming on this one because it was one file. And it has my bell, because it's a regular ride file. And I get no bell on that ride. Could be just the ride that I'm using. Who knows? Either way, you do have a lot of capabilities on either side. But to get this one up to the same availability of files is going to take you basically 2 32s and a 16 gig, which you're going to have to continually swap. Okay, and then re-access and this and that, and oh, that's a pain. Where this thing, you've got over 1,300 sounds built in, you have over 200 user kits to program. I don't know what the maximum limit is this. I think it's per card amount of kits that you can program, because it doesn't hold it all in one spot, obviously, because everything's run external after, because you only have 10 built-in kits, period, that are built in memory, and then 200 built-in memory sounds. Nothing else is expandable internally here. Where this is everything external is where you're going to get your other kits, your other sounds from, and so the card always has to be in there, or you got to swap cards as you go, right? Where this thing here, over 1,300 built in, you can add in more. You have 50 preset kits that you can manipulate as well, plus you have 200 user kits you can program that are built in at the same time, so you have much more. You have the touch response on this you don't have on this. You have softer pads, you have hard pads, you have staircase, which is a little bit more realistic, where this is all flat. Okay, these are also a lot harder, okay? That sort of thing. Sensitivity levels, they're pretty much, you still got to hit these harder, you know, much harder in fact to get the full volume. And I've EQ'd these up pretty high, and you still got to hit them pretty hard. Audio output through the line outs, I mean, we got to really jack this thing up to get the same kind of output as we do with the Yamaha at much less. So We're not having to drive as much signal out of the Yamaha through the control knob to get a really good response. Okay, so a lot better and easier. Either one of them can be turned into a full-size kit, but you'll have more pieces accessible here, like 22 total, as opposed to this one. What did we say? It was like 12. All right, well, we got 8 here, so we got 8, we got 9, and 12. So far less capabilities in this. But I mean, for the difference of the money, though, in my opinion, if you can't really afford this at the time, put it on layaway. You can get layaway at virtually any music store, okay? So put a big chunk down, put on layaway, go for this in the end. Especially if you're thinking about advancing your skills further beyond, you know, because instruments depreciate in value, okay? Alesis products depreciate far faster and far harder down than Yamaha will, or than Roland will, okay? Known household staple brands that have been out forever, okay? Alesis has not been on the block as long as everybody else, and their quality is not to the same as Yamaha or Roland or other outfits, right? And for the price-cost difference, $379 for this thing, $599 for this one. I mean, this is ultimately, if you are worried about quality, performance, you want sounds, you don't want to go hunting down the internet for a boatload of sounds like I did. Now, Alesis does have a package of sounds you can download, and I have pretty much everything from their package on this card already, and there's still more sounds out there that you can get, yes, but there's also more sounds you can get for this too, right? But this has so much in it already, you won't need to search the internet for anything for a long time with this. Whereas this thing here, you're searching right away, because 200 ain't much, okay? It doesn't add up to a whole lot. And even with their downloadable file of all their extra sounds, that still doesn't amount to a whole lot of extra sounds, okay, in the end. Now, there is an advantage here. This is more of an analog interface, so a lot easier for programming right from the get-go for certain things, but you are limited on what you can and cannot touch for programming. Whereas this thing here, you have a software-controlled interface that is really advanced, multi-layering, too easy to access stuff. You can go layer switching, mute, hi-hat, whatever, hold, alternate stacks, you know, that sort of thing. When you want to get in and change something, you know, it's like, there's your list, you know, boom, it's smack in front of you. You know, I want Japanese percussion. Okay, here's my Japanese percussion stuff. Alright, I want Arabic and African. There's my list of that stuff. Pretty big list. Different hi-hats, okay, that are out there. Cymbals, same thing. And it's all touch, 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 boom, 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 quick. You can program the Yamaha 5 times faster than you can program the Alesis, by far, okay? And you can do a lot more with the programming than you can with the Alesis as well. So, for that, that's why I would say that, yes, the Alesis is a very good product. It is great for beginners. It is great for even some of the advanced drummers out there that, you know, are also on a really tight budget, or maybe you can't put layaway down, but you can afford this now, upgrade later. You might get something for your trade-in, but don't expect a whole lot. I had an Alesis Pad 4 that was like $250, I think it was, new. I did not get much for a trade-in even 6 months later. Okay, so kind of really sucked the value. Okay, and resale privately, you're not going to get a lot. Okay, it's just they fall down too quick. Where this thing, even a couple of years from now, is still going to be worth a fair chunk of change. Okay, so you got to kind of roll the dice on that. It's all what you're into, you know. Honestly, it is. I was happy with a 4. I was basically happy with this 8 to a certain point until I saw this and what this could do, and the fact I can do with the hand stuff, I can do the Congo stuff, I can mute stuff, all kinds of things that I just can't do with this. And all the sounds that are in here, it's like, oh, great, I don't have to join 15 website companies now just to get stuff, and nor do I have to pay for sounds to get the exact same sounds. It's already built into this thing. Like, there's a lot in here, you know. Same as, you know, metronoming controlling from a pad you're loose, you know, for your 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to do, right? Now you can do tap tempo stuff. I think you can do tap tempo on this. That's actually a pretty good question. Something I'd have to honestly look into a little bit more. Anyways, so feature for feature, I mean, yes, it's a no-brainer. The Yamaha wins everything in this video. But it is nice to compare the sound difference. It's nice to compare features. And for the dollar value, you know, like $379, $599, we're talking 200 and... Actually, it's not even that, like $380. So it's actually $221 more. Yeah, it's $221 is exactly what it is. $221 more, and you get 500 times more of the machine than this. You get more than twice the expandability in this than this. You get better touch response, better heavier duty pads, you get muting effect, you get more sensitive pads too. I'm barely hitting that. Here I'm like, and it's not as controllable either, you know, which is another thing I find. And you have to just get things just right, you know, and you're going to accidentally slip off the edge and activate another pad too. So, yeah, there you go. Not too many drawbacks to the Yamaha either, you know. I did the review actually on the Yamaha and found that the only thing I could really crap about were two things. One, I had to spend $40 on a stupid connector that I shouldn't have had to because Yamaha made the wrong kind of a bus. And two, I felt that the knob was a little on the cheapy side. Well, so are the Alesis ones, and so are many of those drum modules out there. They got kind of like cheapy control knobs, but everything else is great. You know, same sort of thing. You know, the pads are really beautiful. The pads are really beautiful. You know, things light up differently. You know, you still light up down here. So, kind of up to you. Anyways, I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed the video. I gotta go take this back to the store now and bring home yet another toy, which I guess we'll show you later once I get it set up. But this is definitely going back. I'm keeping this one. This thing is flipping awesome. Do check out the Yamahas, check out your Rolands, check out your Alesis ones too. You know, I'm not saying the Alesis is a bad buy. It does have a lot of adoring features to it, which are really nice and appealing. But after experiencing this and everything that is in this thing, and the fact of programming it is so simple and easy, very intuitive, not that big of a learning curve, and I get visuals of everything, and my entire list is like boom, 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 where this I'm like that drives me nuts. Okay, probably drive a lot of people nuts, but hey, it's analog, right? So that's what you get for an analog interface. Still a digital machine, but very analog on the interfacing. Very weird. But I can rock through this pretty quick nowadays. I mean, I've had a lot of experience with sample pads, but this thing, definitely awesome. Definitely worth it. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Do subscribe if you haven't already and smash that bell. More music gear coming. More other videos of all kinds of videos coming. So stay tuned. See ya.